Hey guys, welcome back to the Twala Bears. I brought the family to a park here in Tagaytay. You can see them in the background. There they are. They're the ladies right there. So today I wanted to talk about stepdads and what you might expect if you decide to date a woman here in the Philippines that has children already. And if you've been here and you've dated um, here, you'll realize that many Filipinos here already have children. So a lot of times when you start dating somebody, um, you might have to date somebody that already has a child, a single mother. And so I want to talk about what it's like in my experience, what I've been through, what to expect. Um, and it just depends because one, you never know what kind of age you're going to get. If you become a stepdad here, you don't know what kind of child you're going to get. Are they going to be a good kid? Are they going to be a bad kid? Are you going to have problems? But I'll just tell you what I've been through and experienced in my 10 years of knowing Janice and being with my stepdaughter Jana. So when I started dating Janice in 2015, I came a lot to see her, and we had planned it out. Every month I was coming to see her, and then but we hadn't planned. I knew about her daughter, but we hadn't planned to meet each other yet. We decided to make it a um, the plan so I can actually meet her and we could talk and we could get to know each other. So back in 2015, I planned a trip and brought my wife and we went to Cebu. We stayed probably like across the street from the mall there in the Yala Mall. I know everybody knows that place. And we stayed at a hotel called Quest. So we were right across the street from the mall, so we had easy access. And if and when I was going to meet my stepdaughter, we could talk, get to know each other. There'll be restaurants around. So, anyways, we me and Janice went and spent 2 weeks in Cebu by ourselves, and then the last week she flew back and picked up our stepdaughter Jana, and then brought her flew back to Cebu, and then that's the first time I actually got to meet my stepdaughter who's over there with my wife. So at the time, Jana was 7 years old. I was really nervous because in my younger days I've never been a father. I don't have any children. Um, I had a bad perception about fathers, as mine was a piece of, I'm going to put that up there. He was a piece of work. And so I didn't have a father figure in my life, even though I had a father. He was never there for me. Um, I'd have baseball games in Little League. He'd never show up. My mom was always in the stands. I remember the one time my father went to one of my basketball games in high school, and every time I score a basket, I'd look over to get some sort of approval. Every kid's proud, and hopefully that their parents will be proud. But my dad was sitting there with a book in his hand, and he was just reading the whole game. He didn't even pick up his head. I begged him to come to my game. He finally came, and he was not there. Growing a little older, when I was 17 years old, he abandoned one of his cars, the only car he had, he abandoned at our house. And my parents were kind of going through a divorce. He wasn't living with us. And I remember saving all this money from all these jobs, small jobs I had. I used to go to the junkyard and pick apart and go back to the abandoned car in our garage, and I would fix it up. And I remember fixing up the car and got it running. And then one night, right as soon as I fixed the car, one night my father comes along and steals my car, takes it in the middle of the night. And my mom felt so bad because I had worked so hard going to the junkyard to fix that car. My father just took it from me. He had an extra key and he just drove off with my car. So I didn't have a good experience with a father, and I think that's kind of the reason why I never wanted to have children. So fast forward, here I am with Jana, not really having a good experience with a father, and kind of nervous about possibly meeting, if me and Janice continue with our relationship, possibly having a stepdaughter. So fast forward, the relationship's going well, and here we are in Cebu. Janice goes to get Jana. She's in Luzon, Tagaytay, fly her over to Cebu, and we are in Cebu, and we hit it off. She's a good kid, happy, smiling. As a matter of fact, there were times that she was like calling me daddy already. I'm like, wait a minute, kid. Did mom tell you to say that? And so she didn't probably, but maybe she was looking for a father figure right away. So I didn't question it. I just went along with it. She would just call me daddy, right? So I guess it was better than calling me Andrew. So as that week went along, we spent the whole week, and it was just dedicated to being with her, getting to know her, talking with her. And I remember we would walk around Ayala Mall, and we would go to these restaurants every day. And I remember it's kind of a joke because um, we would go in a restaurant, and you're trying to impress even a little 7-year-old kid. At the time she was 7. I was like, Donna, what do you want to drink? And she would always say, Daddy, can I get a mango shake? I said, sure, mango shake. Hey, man, I got you. So I'd order these mango shakes, right? But I noticed like every single restaurant we would go to, I'd ask her, what do you want to drink, Jana? She'd be like, mango shake, mango shake. I said, okay. So you're thinking like things are like not cheap in the Philippines. So one day we went to a restaurant. She ordered her mango shake, and I said, let me take a look at that receipt. When I looked, man, it was like these mango shakes were like $3 American, like almost $4 for a mango shake. And I said, babe, I said, have Jana just get like water, because those mango shakes were getting expensive. And so that's our little joke between me and Jana, is that, hey, Jana, remember when you were 7 and that's all you did was order mango shakes all the time? She was like, yeah, I remember, Daddy. So, but it's different when it's not your blood child. You come to the Philippines and you're dating a Filipina, and there's a possibility that you might be the stepdad. So I'll tell you, in my uh, 10 years of knowing Jana, it has been one of the greatest things in my life. It's scary at times. I didn't know if I could be a father to a girl who was 7 years old. The father wasn't as much in her life, wasn't kind of rarely in her life. So I had to step in to take that role, and I didn't know if she would trust me. Even at 7 years old, some of these kids are like, uh, they don't know you. They don't know if you're going to stick around. And some of these expats, I see some horror stories. They don't get along with their kids. But I didn't want to be like that. I remember what it was like for my father to be a piece of, you know, and I didn't want to be like that. I said, if I'm going to be a father, I wanted to be a good father. I wanted to be there for her. I can't be her actual blood father, but I could be a good friend. I could just be there for her when she needed me the most. Take interest in the things she wanted to do. So I remember when I came to the Philippines, I remember downloading a lot of like kids type stuff. You guys remember Brady Bunch? I downloaded the whole series of Brady Bunch. I downloaded Gilligan's Island, and that really helped us to laugh together. Not so much Brady Bunch. Jonna didn't like Brady Bunch too much. Hey, Jonna, did you like Brady Bunch very much? No, I don't think she's over there in her phone, teenager. So I used to see if she wanted to watch Brady Bunch, but she didn't like Brady Bunch too much. But she loved Gilligan's Island. And, I love me some Gilligan's Island. We would laugh and we would have a good time. And she loved that show at 7 years old. And we would just, it just became a thing that we could just laugh together and enjoy. I remember a show that I never really got into because it was in Tagalog, and she used to like this show called Encantadia. And I would always ask her questions about it. She always wanted to talk about Encantadia and the characters. It was kind of like a fantasy show with princesses in there, and magic, and it was like a fantasy show, a Filipino fantasy show that was popular. And so we would get into Encantadia, and I would ask her about it. And so I made sure that I didn't do what my father did, was just totally ignore me and not be there for me at all. Um, and so I made sure that I was there for her as a kid. So fast forward now, years have gone by. My daughter now is 17 years old. She's almost 18, going to be an adult. And I love this kid. We get into our arguments, we go through our struggles. And I don't know if I've done a good job. I've tried to be there where my father wasn't. I'm sorry I'm getting choked up, but I love that kid. And if you plan to be a father here and take over and be a stepdad, do it right. Be there for your kid. My father was not there for me when I was young, but I wanted to be there for her. And we have our struggles. There are times we argue, we go through things, and I'm learning how to deal with teenagers because it is not easy. I remember a friend of mine who had a teenage boy, one of my expat friends here in the Philippines. He had a teenage son, and he had a phone, and that teenage boy, I guess, was not doing what he was supposed to with his phone, like put it away or whatever. And so my buddy, he took away his phone. Next day, the kid has another phone. And then my friend was telling me the story. I said, so where did he get the phone? And he said, my stepson, he said that he got a phone from another friend. So, these teenagers, they will test he just kind of rolled his eyes and like, what can I do with these teenage kids? But as a father, sometimes when you get them to teenage years, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to be. And I just tell myself, just be there, right? Sometimes I could be a jerk. Sometimes I want her to do the things I want her to do, but I got to remember she's now not 7 years old. She's not asking for mango shakes. These teenagers, they just want to be in their rooms. They want to be left alone. And at times when they finally open up to you and they tell you things that are important to them, sometimes you want to give them the advice, and you don't want to sit there and listen. But I'm trying to learn as a stepfather, stepdad, a daddy, just to be there for my daughter. I didn't plan on getting this emotional, and I don't even know if I should post it like this, but I just want you guys to know, any of you guys expats who plan on coming here and to be, how to date a woman and to be with a woman, and finally be a stepfather to these kids, be a part of their lives. I seen a blogger not too long ago who was happy because him and his lady were going to be able to be together, and then that the daughter was going to be leaving them to live with the grandma. And I said, don't be like that, man. Be part of their lives, man. It seemed like he was happy that the his stepdaughter was going to go live with the grandma. And I don't know their circumstance. I don't know how they were living, but I wanted to be part of Jonna's life. I wanted to be a part of my daughter's life. So for all you fathers out there, it's just like any other struggle, and you've had kids. Probably if you're an older guy who's been here, you probably have kids back in the States, back home, whatever country you're from. But when you come here to date the full package, right? They call this a package deal. Be a father. Just be there for them, right? They want you there because they don't have any stability in their life when it comes to fathers. And that's all I have to say. Um, I hope you guys just realize it's a lot of work. It's not easy, and it's a job not over. It never ends. Uh, there's always going to be struggles, but I want you guys to know it's rewarding. It's rewarding to be a father. Um, I'm glad I finally got an opportunity to be a dad and to be a part of a kid's life. But you come here to the Philippines, get involved with your if the girl you're dating has a child, get involved in their lives, be a part of their lives. I guarantee you, it'll be rewarding. So that's all I got to say. You guys have a good day, and man, I hate the fact that I was out here crying like a big baby, but I love this kid, and I want to be there for them. So thanks a lot, guys, for watching the channel, Twala Bears, and hope to see you in the next vlog.